Having the right balance in the art and science of recruitment is even more important as the pace of change continues to accelerate and the cost of a poor hire becomes greater. Hiring with the future in mind becomes essential. Hiring with the future in mind is critical because you need to understand the likelihood of that candidate continuing to succeed in the organisation as things change rapidly. And unless you're using one of the recruitment sciences, assessment technology, you don't really know. US recruitment expert Kevin Wheeler has given us a great insight into what roles are likely to be critical for future organisational success, and they are these. So if you're interviewing a candidate for one of those sorts of roles, and they've got a little bit of experience in that area, how do you really know their capability? Even as an experienced interviewer, how sure are you? The stats tell us a 1 in 4 chance at best. To simplify Dr. Handler's diagram, it's easy to tell this stuff, but it's this stuff below the waterline that truly generates performance on an ongoing and long-term basis. And unless we know what's going on here, we're just guessing. We're just guessing. And there's far too much at stake as things change rapidly to just guess. And here's an example of the consequences. This is an article from across the Tasman, from New Zealand, Statistics New Zealand, similar to the ABS. The article says it found that 34% of businesses believed that the problem in filling vacancies was due to personality and motivational issues, ahead of work experience and skills. I would say to that, how do they really know? How do they really know? Are those people using assessment technology? I doubt it. Are they highly skilled interviews? I doubt it. So what's the consequence for those organisations? They're either not filling jobs or they're filling jobs with the wrong candidates. There's simply too much at stake in the future to make your hiring decisions on a guess. So before I conclude, I'd just like to draw your attention to the resources document in your show bag, because there's a lot of additional reading that I think will supplement what I've said today. I've given that to you. Easier still is to go to my website and click on the hyperlinks. And again, the website, which has my PowerPoint slides and this document, is right down the bottom of that resources document. So to conclude, I'd like to tell you a brief story. And it's a story that I find inspirational in terms of balancing the art and science of recruitment. And it's the story of Red 5 Studios. They're an American organisation. They're a games technology company. And Red 5 Studios was set up by a guy called Mark Kern. Mark Kern was the team leader on the World of Warcraft. And he had the inspiration to set up his own business. And he was inspired by Steve Jobs when Steve Jobs set up Pixar, because Steve Jobs said he wanted to get the best animators in the world working for him at Pixar. And Mark Kern wanted to do the same in terms of the games technologists to work for him at Red 5. However, he was no Steve Jobs. No one really knew who he was. So he needed to firstly find out who the top 50 games technologists were in the world and then approach them. But him just calling them up was unlikely to cut much ice. So he and his creative agency came up with a brilliant idea. So firstly, Mark Kern went online and discovered who these top 50 people were. He had a reasonable idea because he was from that background. But he went to chat rooms, he went to gaming sites, and he worked out who were the top 50 that he was interested in. Then he FedExed them a package, each of those 50. And this is what was in the package. There was a box. The first box you open up and there's some text or poem. And then you open the second box, more text and a poem. Third box, fourth box, until you get to the fifth box. And inside the fifth box was an iPod Shuffle that Apple had made specifically for Red 5 Studios. And the instruction was, please put the earphones on and press play. So when the candidate, who, as you can imagine, at this point in time is wondering what the hell's going on, put on the earphones, press play, and then on the audio is Mark Kern with a specific personalised message for that person, saying, hi David, I've seen the stuff that you do, and making a connection with that candidate in terms of what he's found out about that candidate. Then to say, I'm interested in you being part of my vision for Red 5 Studios, because I see potentially a role for it. If you are more interested, here's a code to go to our website and find out more. And that code took each candidate through to an individualised web page just for that candidate, where that candidate could find out more information about what Mark Kern had in mind for that particular person. The normal response rate on direct mail is 2%. What do you reckon Mark Kern got? 100%. That's what's possible when you get really creative and inspiring around the art and the science of recruitment. So no one can say it better for me than Marvin Smith, who's a Microsoft leader in the world of recruitment. And Marvin said, building a 21st century talent community requires using the right mix of recruiting, art and science. I wish you all the best on your journey down that